Coming Home by Patricia Dixon. Prologue. Tilbury, London. Christmas Eve, 1969. The glass bauble on the tree catches my attention first. It always begins like this. I know exactly where I am, the year, the day. I'm alone in the parlour. I recognise it instantly as the house where we all lived, where we had our last Christmas. The rain is lashing against the window so loud I can hear it through the drawn curtains. The fire is roaring in the grate, and the heat from the flames warms my legs. I'm wearing brown bell-bottoms and a stripy skinny polo from C&A. Mum bought them for me as a treat. To my right, greetings cards line the mantel and the clock in the centre shows 5 p.m. To the left, underneath the window and in front of our black and white telly, Dad's newspaper is on one arm of his chair, an ashtray on the other, waiting for him to get home from work. Blue Peter has just finished and behind me I can hear Mum humming along to a tune on the radio. I go over to take a closer look at the bauble and get so near that I can smell the pine oil that leaks from the needles. This is the ridiculous part, because we never had a real tree. Ours was artificial, from Woolworths, about 2 feet high and stood on the sideboard inside an old biscuit tin, wrapped in last year's Christmas paper. My senses are always heightened, sucking in the atmosphere, soaking in the memories, grasping onto every single thing I see, hear and feel. I'm intoxicated by the pungent scent of a pine forest and mesmerised by the most beautiful bauble which is hung on a red velvet ribbon. A perfectly formed bow frames the glass that is so clear and polished that I can see right inside and watch the scene as it plays out. A child is seated at the kitchen table. That's me. My mother, Sylvia, with her blonde beehive and candy pink lipstick is opposite. She's beautiful. Like the lady on the Fairy Liquid advert who doesn't have to wear gloves when she washes the dishes. Mum is happy. I can tell. She's peeling vegetables, a cigarette burns in the ashtray, and every now and then she takes a drag and nods to another woman, older, who is sitting at the end of the table and chatters in between sips of sherry. That's Auntie Beryl from next door. Not my real auntie, but I call her that. I know exactly what happens next. When my nose touches the glass, it breaks the barrier like when you pop a bubble. I leave Blue Peter behind as I'm sucked inside the bauble through a shimmering, undulating, wibbly-wobbly time warp. Now, instead of looking in, I am part of the scene, seated at the table, in front of humming Mum, my legs dangling from the chair. From this moment on, I have to focus, concentrate, hold on tight to the memories like my life depends on it, because in a way, it does. I'm 6. I know this because pinned to the larder door is one of my birthday cards from November. It's in the shape of a 6. Me and Mum love it because it has all the colours of the rainbow and she says it brings the sunshine into the room. And inside, written along the curves, is my Dad's writing. I know exactly what it says. I read the words over and over on my birthday. I still know them now. They remind me of the sea, and the sea reminds me of my dad. To Daddy's little darling, Daddy's little girl, Daddy's little sweetheart, Daddy's little pearl. The clock on the kitchen wall says 6:45. Time has moved on. There is a lovely aroma in the room, mince pies, pastry and a hint of orange. I look down and there they are, the tangerine segments lined along the table and the curls of peel on top of the newspaper that's already covered in carrot scrapings and sprout leaves. I always put the segments in a row and eat them one by one so I can savour the tangy sweetness of the fruit. They are a special treat, and Mum says we have to make them last like the dates and nuts in the fancy basket we bought from the market. A sound distracts me from what Auntie Beryl is saying. One of her big, long stories about the vicar's wife and her daft hat. Music is playing in the parlour and I hear a cough. Dad. He's home, and this simple realisation that my wonderful, most perfect dad is in the house fills me with such immense joy. It's like it spreads through me. So powerful is my love for him that I could cry. He's playing one of his records, Bizet. Mum isn't keen and prefers the radio, but Dad adores it. That's why I'm called Carmen. My tummy tickles with excitement, reminding me that it's almost here, the big day, the one me and Mum have been talking about for weeks. Our big, magnificent feast. We have a chicken. It's under a tea towel on the draining board, and the veg on the table is from Dad's allotment. There are so many treats too, like a tin of ham and a box of shortbread. Mum has saved her co-op stamps all year, and we even have a tin of Quality Street. I can't even think about Father Christmas and what he might bring, but I hope it's a tiny tears. All I have to do is close my eyes and go to sleep, and it will be Christmas morning, the Christmas it should have been before the knock on the door that ruins everything. No, don't think that, but it's too late. I glance again at the kitchen clock and know what I've done. I have broken the spell. It's almost time for bed, 6:56 p.m. But tonight there won't be any sleep, and Christmas mornings will never be the same again. The second I acknowledge this, the edges of the scene start to close in, darkening, casting shadows into the corner of the room across my mum's face. Beryl's voice slowly begins to fade, like someone is turning the radio dial, drowning her out. And here it comes. Bang! 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 So loud on the front door that it makes my ears hurt and my brain rattle inside my head and my heart. I'm sure it stops for a second or two while I hold my breath, my chest tight, spine rigid, eyes wide. Don't open the door. Don't open the door and it'll be okay. I shout the words, but nobody hears me, even though my neck strains with the exertion of trying to be heard, and in my clenched hand, a segment of tangerine squashes against my skin. The scent from the juice makes my nostrils tickle and my eyes start to sting. Tears prick as I watch my dad dart from the parlour and rush to open the door, and when he does, a storm enters the house and blows hate right up the hallway, chilling my ankles, swooshing upwards to my wildly beating heart. From my chair, I can't see the woman, just my dad's jet black hair, neatly cut, curls greased back in a wave, the cap collar of his white shirt, sleeves rolled up, black braces crossing his back. He is preventing whoever is at the door from coming any further. "Where's your wife, Geordie? Where's Sylvia? Out of my way!" My dad jolts, takes a step backwards, but holds firm. "I want to speak to her right now, or shall I stay out here and tell the whole street what your wife needs to know? You want that, do you?" "Martha, please, stop this. My daughter is here. It's Christmas Eve, for God's sake." "I don't care what day it is, and don't you try to wriggle your way out of this, Geordie Wilson. You think you can go around ruining my life while you play happy families?" I look across the table at my mum and want to ask who Martha is, but somehow I know not to. Mum's eyes are wide, round, green circles outlined in black coal with wings at the corner, set against a very pale face. She doesn't speak but stands quickly and pushes back her chair before almost running down the hall, her body blocking my view of Dad and whoever is making such a racket. Auntie Beryl moves next, and all I can see is her big bum wedged between the door frame before she closes the kitchen door, creating a barrier between me and my parents. This is when I panic, because I want to be with them so badly, even amidst the shouting. I need to hold on to the last few hours, to them, to the three of us. Then the shouting begins again, and the room darkens further, like someone dimmed the lights, and I remind myself to listen carefully because there might be a clue, one I've missed before. What's going on? I run to the door and kneel, peeping through the keyhole as Auntie Beryl grabs my arm and tries to guide me away. I stiffen and resist for a moment, anyway. Yellow. That's the colour I see first. Then brightly coloured birds and flowers, reds and greens, a block of dress fabric. No body, no face, just a screeching banshee with the angry voice of a woman who is cross with my dad and wants to tell my mum something really important. The next voice is my mum's. She sounds angry. Or is she scared? More likely embarrassed that the neighbours will hear. She slams the front door before trying to calm things down. "Martha, I'm sorry, but I have no idea why you're here. But let's go into the parlour and talk there. You'll be upsetting our daughter, so please, if you will." The bird lady moves and then my mum, and the last thing I see before Auntie Beryl heaves me upwards and takes me out the back door to her house is my dad's arm hanging by his side. The anchor tattoo that I love to trace with my finger as he tells me stories of his voyages across the sea disappears from sight. Blackness swallows me in. I'm not scared. This is how it goes. Every dream the same. I open my eyes and I'm upstairs in my bedroom, covered by a blanket but still wearing my clothes from earlier, not my nightie. I have no recollection of how I got there, or when I came back from Auntie Beryl's. It's cold, so I sit and pull the thick eiderdown and wrap it round my shoulders. There's a light on in the hall. I can see it under my door, and then I hear voices coming from next door, Mum and Dad's room, and crying, soft and low. Then Mum speaks. I knew. I just wouldn't admit it. I kept telling myself I was wrong and you wouldn't do this to us. I thought Christmas, us all being together, would make it right. I tried so hard to make it perfect. I wanted to stick us back together. My dad mutters something and whatever it is makes my mum erupt. Then go! Go now! Go on! Get out! I don't want you here for a second longer if that's how you feel. You make me sick. Do you know that? You disgust me. She stops, interrupted by 3 loud thumps on the wall, not from Auntie Beryl's side. It will be nasty Mrs. Smith, who nobody likes. Mum says terraced houses have ears, so when she falls silent I understand why. Whatever Dad has done is bad and she doesn't want anyone else to know, especially Mrs. Smith. I hear footsteps, Mum's. She goes to the bathroom. The light clicks on and then she closes the door. Movement in their bedroom. Drawers being opened and shut, and I can't bear it any longer. I have to see him. I have to see my dad one more time, so I push back the covers and slide off the bed. The wooden floor is cold beneath my socks, but I don't have time to put on my slippers. If I don't hurry, I will miss him. I might be able to change his mind this time. 4 steps along the landing, and I am at the bedroom door, and I watch him in silence as he pushes clothes into a duffel bag that lies sideways on the bed, and my little heart breaks. Dad, where are you going? He turns and runs one hand through his hair, pushing the quiff back over his forehead. His face is a mix of worry and shock, but he carries on with his task, takes a sideways step and grabs socks from the top drawer, answering as he stuffs them inside the bag, then pulls the cord, sealing in his belongings. I just need to go away for a bit. Nothing to worry about, pet. You go back to bed. Go on. There's a good girl. But it's Christmas Eve, so you can't go away now. You'll miss all the fun. He pulls the bag off the bed, steps towards me, then kneels. Both his hands gently rub each of my arms while he speaks. I'm sorry, pet, but I have to go now. You and Mum will have a nice day. Don't worry. Father Christmas will be here soon, so you have to get back in bed and go to sleep. Are you going back to the sea? Is that why you have your sailor's bag? Mum doesn't like it when you go away. Stay here, Dad. Go after Christmas. Please don't spoil it. Me and Mum have made it all nice. It's going to be special. And then it happens. The most terrible thing, because dads aren't supposed to cry, but my dad does. I see tears that make his eyes look like glass. Then they leak and roll down his cheeks, like someone is pouring a jug of water on his face. No more words. Just the force of him pulling me to his chest, holding me so tight I can't breathe, and I think my back will snap. And into my neck, a sob, his warm breath on my skin. Then he lets go, stands and picks up the duffel bag, and before I can speak, he rushes, almost runs from the room. Fast now, everything happens at once. Mum opens the bathroom door, a bright light shows the lines of black coal that run down her face, and she holds out her hand for me to go to her. Instead, I follow my dad, who takes the stairs at a run. He's in the hall, wrapping his scarf around his neck, pulling on his donkey jacket, picking up the bag, and I get to the bottom step just as he opens the front door. One last try. Daddy, please don't go. Please, Daddy, please stay here for Christmas. But as I look at him one last time, at the face I'll try so hard to remember, it's as though his tears are washing away his features, a watercolour fading to white. So I hold on to his voice, his words, some hope. Be good for your mum, Pet. Be a brave girl. I'll be back soon, okay? Daddy, no, please. The door opens. I know I have failed, so I ask the same question I have asked so many times before. When are you coming home? He pauses, looks up the stairs, and I follow his gaze to my mum, who is standing there halfway, mute, frozen. Then back to my dad, but it's too late. His face has disappeared. A white, misty hollow is all that remains. He doesn't answer my question. I start to sob so hard my throat hurts, reaching out as he steps into the night, slamming the front door. And then he is gone.